Region, once widely known as a former red light district. I say was because a few years ago, the authorities completely eradicated the trade there, ending a history that had lasted over half a century since the end of the war. I attended university nearby, but after graduation, I returned to my hometown to take over the family business. A few years passed. This story happened when my former classmates and I gathered for a reunion combined with a trip for our motorcycle club. I managed to take a long vacation, so I arrived in Tokyo early and stayed with a friend who lived in that area. Eventually, 3 of us, myself, the host, and another inseparable friend, decided to head into that notorious district. Filled with anticipation, we parked our bikes under a private railway overpass on the edge of the neighborhood and began wandering the streets. At that time, just before its closure, the district was experiencing an incredible surge, like the last bright flash of a dying candle. Even though the business was illegal, the crowds were as thick as a temple festival on New Year's Day. The women in the windows were of every variety: Chinese, Thai, Taiwanese, Russian, Colombian, a total diversity of nations and races. We arrived around 10 p.m. While we were wandering, one girl caught my eye. She stood in a shop next to a parking lot, on a street parallel to the main road near the river. She wore a white camisole. She was fair-skinned with black hair. With almost no makeup, she simply smiled when our eyes met. Against the backdrop of the other women in provocative makeup shouting for customers, she was captivating. Once the last trains left and the crowds thinned, we decided it was time. My friends chose their shops. One went for a Russian girl, the other for a girl who looked like the expected and incredibly famous and cute Japanese pop idol Ayaya. I told them, I'm going to the one in the white top by the parking lot. We agreed to meet afterward at the mini-stop convenience store across the river. When I reached the shop, the girl in white was gone. In her place stood a woman with long hair in red, looking like the singer Shizuka Kudo. I asked where the girl in white was, but she replied, "Eh? I'm the only one in this shop. I just opened up. Maybe you're mistaken?" Since my friends were waiting and I didn't want to search further, I decided to go in. She asked me to wait and went upstairs to prepare. As I waited by the counter, sipping oolong tea, her voice came from above. "Please, come up." I took off my shoes and took the first step up the dark, narrow stairs. In that instant, a chill ran through me so sharp the hair on my body stood on end. A cold wave surged from my feet upward. With every step, the feeling intensified. When I reached the door, the room gave off an aura so heavy even someone without intuition would feel it. It wasn't the cold of an air conditioner, but a deathly stagnant chill. But it was too late to back out. I entered. Immediately, my body felt heavy, as if I were being pulled down, and a faint sound, like cracking or creaking, echoed in my ears. I broke into a cold sweat. The room was dingy, in a Japanese style with tatami mats, and the lower parts of the walls were covered in mirrors. As we began, her skill was undeniable. But while she was on top of me, I noticed a movement behind her in my peripheral vision. I flinched and stared at her face. She asked if I wanted to be on top, so I flipped her over into the missionary position. Then I felt it. The sensation of hair being drawn across my back. I looked back in terror. No one. But when I looked forward into the mirror, I saw it. A pale woman's face. I froze in pure, unadulterated fear. Suddenly a timer beeped. She asked if I wanted to extend the time, but I didn't answer. I dressed at lightning speed and bolted out of the building, desperate for light and people. I ran to the mini-stop convenience store. When my friends arrived, they found me staring into space in the magazine aisle, drenched in cold sweat. They shook me, but I didn't react. They eventually drove me home, where I was violently ill. My friend let me sleep in his guest room. I woke up to the feeling of someone tickling my face with hair. I was awake, but my body wouldn't move. sleep paralysis. As my eyes scanned the room, that same pale face appeared in the air, so close our noses almost touched. It was the girl in the white top from the parking lot. Then I felt a coldness on my lips. She pressed her mouth to mine. A frozen tongue entered my mouth. I tasted the metallic tang of blood. I threw my body with enough force to break bones, just to break the paralysis. When my friend found me, I was on the floor with a nosebleed. Months later, I met my ex-girlfriend for lunch. She had always been spiritually sensitive. She looked at me seriously and asked, "Have you been to a very bad place lately?" She told me I needed to be purified. I refused to go to her house. Her mother performed exorcisms and was part of a strange religion. But I accepted a gift from her, a black stone choker engraved with symbols. I didn't take it off. Eventually, I started dating a former classmate. On a holiday trip to a hot spring, I went alone to the Roten Bureau, an outdoor bath. I took off the choker and left it on my towel. When I finished, the choker was gone. That night, in our hotel room, the chill returned. I woke up in the middle of the night feeling someone kissing me and moving their tongue over my body. I tried to move, but I was paralyzed again. It wasn't my girlfriend on top of me. It was the girl in the white top. She grinned with bright red lips and covered my mouth with hers. I blacked out. 2 weeks later, while riding my motorcycle, I saw my girlfriend's car at a red light. I waved, but she didn't see me. Then I saw it. Sitting in her back seat was that woman in the white top. She was looking straight at me, laughing. I tried to call my girlfriend, but I couldn't reach her. That evening, a friend called. "She's been in a crash. It's bad." At the hospital, the atmosphere was heavy. Her car was crushed. The ambulance had arrived without sirens, a grim sign. In the hallway, I passed a nurse who gave me a mocking smirk. After she passed, I realized it was her. I turned around, but the hallway was empty. My girlfriend died. 49 days after her death, my ex-girlfriend and her mother performed a ritual on me. I simply gave up and let them do what they had to do. Years later, I returned to that district. It was unrecognizable. The brothels were replaced by parking lots and construction. I found an old woman running a small eatery near a statue of Jizo, a stone statue of a guardian deity. After a few beers, I told her my story. She wasn't surprised. "Many girls perished here," she said. "One girl fell in love with a client, gave him every cent she had, and he abandoned her. She hanged herself right there. This land is soaked in the malice of women like her," she grumbled with hatred. "Even if you tear it all down, that malice doesn't go away. I left that dead district and I will never go back. But I still wonder, will the curse ever truly vanish? Or will it wait in the shadows of our memory?"